Okay, guys, so we're back with some more Chaos Zero Nightmare. Now, I want to take the time to talk about hitting level 50, giving you guys some more of my thoughts as the account has developed, talking about some of the RNG, and definitely sharing some very, very important resources. A really good friend of mine is actually creating some amazing content, and I wanted to share this stuff with you guys because I feel like it is going to help a lot of you guys out that are still confused, maybe not really too familiar with TCG games and how to build decks and stuff like that, and really understanding like what are going to be possibly the best things for you to get for a character's build, or at least some suggestions to help you do so. We're going to be jumping into all that. So again, let's go ahead and let's dive right into it. So obviously, like I said, level 50, man. Another thing I want to do, also add me, guys. Like, I haven't shared this. You can see we're elite captain now, which is now the highest account like title that we can have. So yeah, we've been trucking along. I kept my promise, and this entire time I've only been maining with Rin, Mika, and of course Hugo. They've been my account carry, and that is completely off meta. They like do synergize obviously to some degree, but they're not like a meta synergy, right? And it's been, like I said, pretty smooth. Now, as far as combatants that I've been able to get, if we actually swap this over to the grade, dude, this is kind of insane. I got 6 5-star combatants, and that's all with free-to-play currency. So standard ticket pools is what got me this. Now, the thing is that, you know, when we're talking about RNG and luck, that is definitely going to vary per account. I can at least say from my experience, because now I'm shifting from being free to play to like a light spender, because I did buy the battle pass. That's the only thing I've gotten. But I will say that I want to support the game for what they're doing and all the fun I've had so far. I feel like it's worth it. So yeah, I mean, but up until today, because I just did that today at the recording of this video, everything else is, you know, basically coming from free to play currency. Full transparency, guys, I am also a part of the creator program. So that of course does not affect the tickets I get, but it does affect you know, gacha crystals and stuff like that, or crystal currency. But again, I have not used crystal currency on the gacha. So that has nothing, or hasn't fluxed or has changed any of my I guess kind of like outcomes, right? In terms of me like having to go all the way to pity. No, I did not go all the way to pity multiple times. This is with whatever currency that we got, right? But yeah, so the development of the account, unfortunately, I can't work on, and I think that that's something that'll be nice in the future as they update things. I can't really work on Magna Veronica or Kayron right now. It's just way too much on currency. And I already have units solidified at level 50, Ray, Tressa, Maribel, and Mika. On top of the Orlia and the Hugo and the Ren, that's just no way, right? So on top of that, partner wise, from the partner banner, I did actually put some pulls there, standard pulls. I got Bria, and I also got Noelle, so not upset with that at all. I feel like they're really, really solid partners to have. And even with that, I still have been primarily using the free-to-play quote-unquote best in slots or options for a lot of my team. Even my main DPS, which is my Ren, is using a 4-star partner, right? So I, you know, kind of will say that, like, all in all, through and through, you know, to answer that question, can this game be played and everything be accomplished free to play without having dupes, etc.? Yes, it absolutely can. Right now, one thing I did do, and you may notice, is this is the Asteria, which is the partner that they have up with the Hugo, with the current rate up banner for Haru. Now the thing is that I didn't want Haru specifically, but I did feel like what this specific partner is bringing to the table is really good. So it says assign combatants attack cards with a cost of 2 or more deal 25% damage. I am doing a 2-card build on my Ren, so there's that. Plus 10% of the assigned combatants pulverized cards. Obviously a little bit more unique to, you know, to what's your name, Haru, but you know, the ego skill also kind of comes into play. So it's plus 20% damage to the next attack card used by the assigned combatant for a total cost of all cards in hand. It's a max of 10 cards. So that's the ego skill itself. So I was like, you know what, I'll mess around with this, see how I kind of feel about it. But until then, I'm just going to be using the free to play one. So this is the only thing that I use limited currency on. But even then, I'm still, whenever there is a rate up that I actually care about, for the unit at least, I'll be diving into that. So, to each its own when it comes to that, right? Now, as far as other aspects of the game and just some of the things that I like, really like, and then of course things that I hope to see change with the chaos, the zero system. I really honestly will say at this point, one thing that I think that they have to do with the zero system that'll make it much smoother for a lot of players transitioning is just making things a little bit more clear on how to achieve them, right? So I don't think, if you didn't realize, like I said, a lot of us playing, we had to kind of find out that doing the higher stages was how you unlocked potentially a drop for another higher stage interval for you to go up. So I think that was a really, really big thing as far as trying to do more of the codex, and that I don't think was really that clear. I think we kind of put two and two together after doing so many X amount of runs on the lower levels, but we probably could have gotten a lot higher a lot quicker. So I think that there needs to be some sort of guide or indicator that is how you do it, just so that people aren't wasting units, because I feel like I ultimately wasted units, because once you do things so many times on a certain attribute, it doesn't really count towards anything, other than the fact if you're getting the chaos orbs. But if you're not completing it, then you are absolutely wasting material. So hopefully that's something we'll see in the future that gets adjusted. I know there's a whole bunch of other things, but that was one of the things that I felt with my experience and grind to level 50 definitely was a big thing. Another thing is also the EXP grind, right? Do I feel the value of my drops were that great? It's most games when you first start out, they just always feel pretty terrible. But I also feel for the amount of resources that you need, considering this is a week plus now that we're going into, feel the progression is okay if you're able to max refill. But if you're not able to max refill, then it is going to feel significantly slower. So I think that's definitely a really big thing to kind of consider in how you're playing the game. I personally always will say, in a lot of games, typically free to play, the best metric or method is to go for max refilling up until the point where you unlock everything, so that you can get the most value out of your EXP. So that definitely I think plays a big part in whether or not you should be summoning, and I think that even kind of more so emphasizes the reroll process a little bit more. Granted, we do have a ton of currency coming in right now, but that's not always going to be the case, and nor do we know how long that stuff's going to be in your mailbox, for any newer players that may be watching this later on. So any of the content I think that we're looking at as far as farming, then you just have to kind of be aware of that. Outside of that, though, I think that the actual scaling of difficulty and stuff like that for farming content isn't bad. I'm just hoping that they do more with this so we can make more use of all of the save data and the difficulty of getting the save data and more content, which I guess we shall see more of that in the near future. But yeah, outside of that, I think everything all in all with the game, they've done an extremely good job with like I said, for me, I feel the process was worth it, but I think the biggest thing is just really working out how much stamina it costs and really how much is required to get to this point. Because a lot of people aren't going to see level 50 anytime soon, especially if they're only doing one refill or two refills, right? There's no real way to just kind of min-max that and get there relatively quickly. So yeah, that's just kind of that. And the other thing is that if you're refilling to max, that can absolutely absorb your crystals, right? So I think that that's another thing to kind of consider too. Like, do you have the ability to also do that as a free-to-play player, and also summon at the same time? That's going to be kind of cutting it close, but it is possible, right? I'm not going to say it's not possible. I just think it just kind of all depends on your RNG, and that's the part where we can't really control that variable much, right? So yeah, just wanted to kind of mention that. Again, I think that for even the mission for the uncapping at level 50, that mission, I'm not going to post anything because I want everybody to be able to experience that specific mission because it is pretty fun. Like if we go back to I think it was in the battles. Yeah, I think it's in the battle, right? The promotion mission here. Actually really fun, right? This right here, yeah, I actually lost it the first time just because I didn't realize what I was supposed to do. And then once I figured it out, I was like, okay, not too bad. So I'm hoping that they do more stuff like this. We continue to have more promotional stuff. I think we are going to get uncapped. That kind of seems to be the route that they're going. So I would suspect to see more of this, right? Because even the content now is at like level 80. So yeah, I would think we would be getting more to that. But outside of that, yeah, there's a lot of other things from, you know, the connectivity and all that stuff that they can work out, translations and stuff like that. But all in all, I feel like they have a really solid game. And I've had a blast so far. So yeah, that's just kind of like the overall experience I've had, you know, just as far as my account goes. Now, I want to make sure that I share these resources with you guys because they are fairly important. And I have to shout out the homie Unexpected. Actually has been popping off like kind of crazy on Reddit. And what he's actually making are, well, number one, he has like a whole website, but he also has like Google Docs. And most importantly, he has these right here where you guys will be able to get infographics on different character builds. Now the ranges on these are like, you know, he has like one for just about every character. And I definitely will vouch for these being like very like valid. I feel like obviously there are some things that I will say that I prefer, but I definitely think that this is a really, really good baseline. As you can see, it goes through a whole bunch of things from like your best in slot partners to the free to play option, the 5-star alternative, what stat priorities will you go for? Of course, too, he does explain these things, you know, kind of talking about like what slots for the items, how they're versatile, you know, teammate options, as well as memory fragment options, what you can go for there, depending on, you know, what you may be building into or who you're partnering them up with. And then, of course, the cards that you want to have in that character's hand that allows that character to really, you know, get more out of a specific gimmick out of the in their build. So like this is like focusing on the hunt commence or the commence the hunt. So yeah, best cards for that. And then, of course, overall, how to play them, right? And so this is something that he actually has for like just about every character. I'm gonna have this link down below so you guys can actually see not only these infographics, which he also posts on Reddit, but he also creates content on YouTube. So I definitely would highly recommend to check him out, show him some love, because he is a fairly newer content creator, but he's making some really, really like amazing stuff for the community. And like I said, I've been seeing a pretty positive response even on the Reddit from a lot of people. And he's even asking or answering any questions. So if you do look on the Reddit, I'll have the link for that too. And you find or come across some of his infographics. If you have a specific question about something, feel free to drop it down there because either he might answer it or someone else will. And then, of course, like I said, you can also go on his channel and ask these same questions. So yeah, guys, that's basically going to be that with this one. I feel like, you know, the account, like I said, is just developed so well. I think that Chaos Zero Nightmare has a really promising future as long as they just continue to do what they've been doing, which is just honestly creating a organic and fresh game that, like I said, just keeps its replayability. As long as they keep that, I feel like the game will do well, do really well. But I am interested to know, how has your guys' account been going? Like, what do you have on your account? You know, what units have you gotten? How do you feel about stamina? Have you been max refilling this whole time? Let me know in the comment section down below. But that's going to be that with this one, guys. Everyone, stay blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.